All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be very honest with you up front. This is my 4th time trying to make this video, so if the smartboard starts acting weird, I'm just going to go with it. So hopefully it'll work out. Today we're going to be working on operations with numbers and scientific notation. We're going to learn how to add, subtract, multiply, divide. We've already really been doing the multiplying and dividing thing, so we're really going to be focusing more on the adding or subtracting. So right here are your rules. So if you could put some stars around here, highlight it, whatever, but your key step is that you have to have a common exponent. It's a lot like when we did combining like terms in 7th grade with algebra, that you can't add or subtract things unless the exponent part is the same. So when I look at this, I have 3.07 times 10 to the 6th, 8.4 times 10 to the 4th. So I think it's easier to go to change the smaller one to the bigger one. So this one's going to stay. I'm going to just copy it over. And what I need to do is I need to take this and I need to add 2 to its exponent. I need to go from a 4 to a 2. So in order to do that, I have to move the decimal point, because every time you move your decimal point, you're going to be changing your exponent. So if I have to move this 2, I have to move my decimal 2, and I'm going to be going to the left. So this is actually going to become 0.084 times 10 to the 6th. So now we add our numbers out front, and yes, I'll let you use a calculator, but if I do that by hand, I'm just going to line them up here. So we're going to have 3.07 plus 0.084. So this is going to end up being 451, so 3.154. So we've written them in scientific notation, we've gotten a common exponent, we added or subtracted the coefficients, we're adding because that's what the problem says. We have to keep the power of 10, so times 10 to the 6th. And by simplify, I'm saying that it means it has to be in correct notation. And remember, a number in scientific notation has to have a number between 1 and 9, which this is, even though you can't see my decimal. It's 3.154, and then times 10 to some power. All right, for number 2, 9.5 trillion. So I have to start by putting that into scientific notation. So 9.5 trillion looks like this. So written in scientific notation, that's going to be 9.5 times 10, and we have 369 to the 12th power. So I need to then move and change the 4.75 so that it has a power of 12. So I have to then add 3, right, because 9 is 3 away from 12, so I have to add 3, which means I have to move my decimal 3 places. So this is going to become point, if I go 1, 2, 3 places, 0.00475 times 10 to the 12th. Now I can go through and do my problem. I'm going to actually put it up here, 9.5 times 10 to the 12th minus that big thing there. So when I do that, if I do 9.5 minus 0.00475, again, I'm doing it on the calculator and that's okay. So I get 9.49525, and then I keep the power of 10. Making sure that this is in correct scientific notation, that is less than 10, so then we're okay. All right, number 3. So I have to take my 3,500,000 and write it in scientific notation. So that's 3.5 times 10 to the 3/6 power. That means I have to take this and I have to increase it by 1, which moves my decimal to the left. So this is going to be 0.62 times 10 to the 6th. I'm subtracting, so 3.5 minus 0.62 is going to give me 2.88 times 10 to the 6th. For number 4, I need to take my 85 million, which looks like this, write it in scientific notation, 8.5 times 10 to the 7th. I need my powers of 10 to match. So I'm going to take, and I have to increase this by 1, which moves my decimal over. So I'm going to rewrite it. 2.5 times 10 to the 8th plus 0.85 times 10 to the 8th. This is an adding problem, so I'm going to add those together and get 3.35 times 10 to the 8th power. It's in correct scientific notation. All right, let's talk about multiplying and dividing. So for multiplying and dividing, again, we've done this. You don't have to have a same power of 10 here. Just like we were doing before, you multiply your coefficients, you add your exponents. So 4.6 times 3.2 is going to give me 14.72 times 10, and I'm going to add 6 and negative 3, and I get 3. I have to make sure, though, the simplify step means correct notation. So 14.72 is not correct scientific notation. So I have to move my decimal over this way, which will increase it by 1. So this is going to be 1.472 times 10 to the 4th. For number 6, we're going to multiply the numbers out front. So we're going to have 5.04 times 9, which gives you 45.36. I did that on a calculator. Times 10, and you're going to add your exponents. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. Same thing, I have to check to make sure I'm in correct scientific notation. I have to move this over 1, which increases your exponent. So 4.536 times 10, negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. For dividing, and again, we did this when we were doing those estimating value questions. So here I'm going to divide and then subtract my exponents. So 7.5 divided by 2.5 is 3 times 10, 6 minus 2 is 4. So we're putting a bunch of stuff together here. This is correct scientific notation, so I'm done with that one. For number 8, we have 7.68 divided by 2.4. Right, we're dividing, subtracting. So that's going to give me 3.2 times 10. 9 minus 12 is negative 3. It's correct scientific notation because this is between 1 and 9.9. So, bunch of different rules. I would absolutely encourage you to put them on an index card because our test is next week. Have a good night, guys.